Hello, this is Brighton TV and this is the match preview for Brighton vs Liverpool. And last week versus Villa, we needed a result and we ended up getting the 3 points. And it was a really good end-to-end game the first half. We had lots of chances and Villa, they had lots of chances. And our goal came from Welbeck, and a really good goal, a counter-attacking goal. And we exploited Villa's weakness of the high line. Welbeck went in behind and a beautiful chip over the keeper to make it 1-0, and we had a couple other chances in that first half where we could have scored and unlucky not to. And Villa, they had their fair share of chances in that first half too, with Trezeguet being the most important one, where you think he really should have scored. He ended up getting the ball inside the box. He ended up making space for him to have a shot, and there wasn't really any defenders in the way, and he ended up skying it, leaving the half-time whistle at 1-0. And we ended up going a lot more defensive because Lallana, who was so instrumental in that first half, giving lots of chances to Welbeck and Maupay, he ended up getting subbed off with an injury, and on came Veltman, who had a fantastic defensive display versus Villa. And throughout the game, Grealish, he struggled so much with Basuma and Lamptey breaking up his play, and with how Grealish plays, where he ends up falling over a lot to go and try and win lots of fouls. He ended up doing that, but we were really good in stopping him from having any chances in open play. Lamptey getting a really harsh red card, and I thought it really shouldn't have been a red card. And Grealish fell over and the ref ended up sending off Lamptey. And then from that free kick, you saw Villa, they ended up getting a 90th minute penalty, and I thought, how could March concede that after he scored such a good goal? He ended up conceding, and I was thinking that we've just gone and threw away 2 points. And then when you look at the replay, it showed that March got a touch on the ball. VAR showed that to the ref. The ref checked the monitor. That is a great example of VAR and seeing how the ref sees he made a mistake and ends up turning it. That's when you think that's great use of VAR. But that does mean now for this Liverpool game, Lamptey is suspended and Lallana, he won't be fit to start this game. And Liverpool, they've been on really good form in the league, having beat Leicester 3-0 last week, and that was a great display from them. They limited Leicester to so few chances, and with them they ended up attacking so much, and they could have scored more than the 3 goals themselves. And that's where you have to be careful with how Liverpool play. They're so good on the attacking side. You have to make sure you don't give them too much space and you don't give them too much time on the ball, or they can end up creating the chances to tear apart defences. But if you look at the midweek game in the Champions League, they ended up losing 2-0 to Atalanta. But a big if about that game was the fact that Klopp ended up making it a much weakened side because he wanted to focus all on this Brighton game. You need to go and be on the top of our game to go and get something. And Liverpool, they've struggled with injuries this season, and 3 of their main important players, you have Virgil van Dijk, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Joe Gomez, all of them are injured for this game. And that's where you think you have to take advantage of that. Trent, who's so good from that right back role in whipping in crosses into the box. And how you can end up beating Liverpool now is either you sit back and you soak up the pressure and you go on a lot more of a counter-attack where they commit too many bodies forward, and without Van Dijk and Gomez there, they end up not having the quality of defenders to defend counter-attacks. Or you have to go past the press, which I think Potter will try to do, but it is a lot harder because their press is very intense, and if they do get the ball, they get it in a very high area and they have a big chance to score. And we saw when we played them after the restart last season, where we ended up making a couple mistakes right at the start of the game, and that ended up costing us. And that's where you think you have to be careful. Make sure if you do try and play it out from the back, when you do go past the press, you're set, because they don't have the bodies back to go and defend any sort of attack from that. So, and the lineup for this game, I think it should be a 3-5-2, and in goal I think it should be Ryan, and he's been really good versus Villa. He ended up making so many good saves. And then you look at the 3 centre-backs, I think it should be Veltman, Dunk and Webster. And Veltman, as I said, he had a really good game coming off the bench. And Dunk, his distribution versus Villa was extremely good. He only made 2 failed passes that whole game. his ability to distribute could be so key versus Liverpool. As I said, if you go past the press, you then have a huge opportunity to run out their two centre-backs. That's where Dunk could be key for this. And Webster, who's really good at progressing the ball himself through carrying the ball, and the wing-backs for this game, I think it should be March and Alzate. And March, he's been brilliant since playing at the left wing-back role, so he simply has to start. And Alzate, he hasn't played recently, but he has played the right wing-back role before, and I think he has to play it, because without Lamptey, we don't really have a player like Lamptey. But Alzate, I think he'll be able to go and stop Robertson from getting so many crosses into the box, and that's where Alzate needs to be. He needs to constantly be at Robertson and stopping him from getting any crosses into the box. And the three midfielders, it should be White, Bissouma and Gross. And Gross, he's been fantastic recently, playing as the right-sided central midfielder, and his ability to cross into the box or the cutback, which we saw for March's goal. He's so good at creating them sorts of chances. I think he should start. And White's versatility and him being able to play as a centre-back or a midfielder will be able to give us a lot of flexibility in the game. And Bissouma, his ability to break up play is so key, and he stops so many counter-attacks doing it. And Liverpool, we know how good the front three is. We know how clinical they are, and we know how fast they are. They will go and have the ability to go in behind defences, and he needs to stop the ball from getting there in the first place, and he's so key in doing that. And especially without Lamptey, who's got the pace to run back and defend that, Bissouma will have to be on the absolute top of his game and stopping any balls from going past the midfield. And the front two, I think it should be Welbeck and Maupay. Welbeck, who played really well versus Villa, and his link up with Maupay, they were just so fluid together, with one of them dropping deep and the other going in behind the defence, and vice versa. They seem like a really good partnership already, and they simply have to start together. And my score predictions for this game, I think will be 1-1. And for Liverpool, I think Salah will score for them. And for us, I think it will be Danny Welbeck. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Brighton TV and follow us on Instagram.